All right, so let me get started, and what I'm probably going to wind up doing is every time someone comes in, I'm going to say, please pick up a syllabus and sit down. So disregard every time I say something like that. All right, so I start at 9 o'clock, and I usually go until 10:20. I'm not someone who lets you go early or anything like that. I want you to get your money's worth on the whole thing. So we'll be here throughout, and I start pretty much on time. So I appreciate all of you coming early. My name is Steve Link, obviously, and I'm the instructor for the class, and we'll be here for 15 weeks. As I said before, it goes by very quickly. That sounds like a long time, but before you know it, it'll be spring break, and we'll have a week off, and we'll come back, and boom, we'll be halfway through the semester. And we'll be sitting here with shorts on because it'll be 105 degrees in May when we end. So just bear with me, and we'll get through this semester, and hopefully you'll enjoy it and also learn a lot. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been at Brookhaven College since the college opened, which is quite a few years ago. Want to pick up the syllabus? Actually, college opened in 1978. So that was a long time ago, right? It was probably very few of you were even born at that time. I am married. I have 2 children. Before you sit down, you want to pick up the syllabus? And both my children have graduated from college in the last few years. I grew up in, before you sit down, you want to pick up the syllabus? I grew up in New York City, so I've been in Texas since 1975. I came to work here at the University of Texas at Dallas. You'll still hear a little accent that I have. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. When I do the syllabus at the beginning of the semester, it's all about expectations, right? That's what the syllabus is. Let me tell you what I expect from you. Whether you like to hear this or not, we're about ready to enter into a relationship, right? Because we're going to be talking with you. It's a relationship that's there. It's not an intimate relationship, right? But it is a relationship. We'll have a form of intimacy. We're going to have intellectual intimacy. I will be sharing my thoughts with you, and you'll be sharing thoughts with me. So it is that way. But like in any relationship, you have to know about expectations. If we entered into a romantic relationship, I hope we would have a discussion about what we expect from each other. What do you expect? How you expect to be treated? What do you want out of the relationship? Where's the future going? I would hope you would have those discussions. If you came to work for me, we'd have to have a discussion about expectations, because it would be, I expect you to do this type of work. And then you would say, well, I will do that if you compensate me, right? So then you would say to me, what's expected of me? So in all relationships, you have to talk about expectations. And that's what the syllabus is. It's a written aspect that tells you about expectations that are there. So that's why I spend probably 50 minutes on talking about that, about expectations. So if you're someone who tunes out after a while because you just don't like listening to people for a long time, as you tune out, tune back in again, okay? Because what I'm about to tell you is important to give you kind of a roadmap about how well to do. All right, one lesson, the first lesson, let's say in psychology, is that there's a key word in psychology. It's called perception. Okay? Everybody perceives the world differently, how you view the world differently. If you want to get to know somebody in a relationship, you need to know how they perceive the world, how they view the world. So let me give you how I perceive the world so you can understand me a little bit better. My view on the world and people would be, one thing is, I think that successful people, okay, work hard. I like that, okay? That's also my view of myself. Okay, I think I've done pretty well in my life. Okay, why? Because I think I've worked hard. My background is I grew up in New York City. I grew up in the Bronx. My parents later moved out and moved to Long Island, where I went to high school. But my view of myself was that, gee, the only way I'm going to succeed is if I work at it and work at it. Okay? Like you, like many of you, I'm the only one that in my family that ever went to college. My brother didn't go to college. My pick up a syllabus before you sit down? My cousins never went to college. My extended family never went. My cousins went when they were in the 30s, went back to school. Matter of fact, when I graduated from high school, my dad, who was a great man, said to me, you know, I think I can help you out. He worked for the post office, okay? And he said to me, you know, I've been talking to the... Could you pick up a syllabus before you sit down? Hello? He said, he works for the post office. I talked to the postmaster, and the postmaster said he thinks he can get you a job if you take the civil service test and do well. I said, well, thanks, Dad. That's great. He said, but what are you going to do when you graduate from high school? What are you going to work at? And I said, well, I don't think I'm going to work. I think I'd like to go to college. And he had this look. He went, why would anyone go to college? What are you going to college for? I said, well, I think, you know, if I get an education, I can get a better job and stuff. He says, I don't know anybody that ever went to college. Okay, well, what do you want to go for? I said, once again, I think I can get a better job later on, get an education, get a better job. He said, oh, okay, how are you going to pay for it? And I went, well, I was hoping maybe you could help. He says, no way. I said, oh, okay. Time to go to work, right? So I had to go to work and work when I went to college and on, okay? And I was a good student, but I wasn't a great student. Okay, the high school I went to was kind of a shady high school. Matter of fact, I think that my high school reunions are probably they have them maybe in the state prison. That's there. Okay, so it was kind of shaky. That's there. I don't have a high IQ. I don't have the background for it. All I did was kind of work hard. So I worked in terms of putting myself through college financially, but also I did any extra work that was there. And eventually, okay, I moved to Texas in '75 to work at the University of Texas at Dallas. I went to undergraduate and graduate school in New York. I finished my PhD at North Texas. And then I've been here all these years. I like this place. It's a good place. But if my perception of the world is, I like it when people work hard, that's how I'm going to develop my classes. Okay? That's how I'm going to develop my classes. You ready for this? You can get D's on all of your tests, but still get a B in the course. Did you hear what I said? Pick up a syllabus before you sit down. Does that wake you up a little bit? Get D's on all of your tests and still get a B in the course. You can get C's on all of your tests and still get an A in the course. Because the way I have it structured is that show me that you're learning, and I'm going to give you many different opportunities to show me you're learning. The state of Texas says to me, when I certify a grade, I say this person knows this material, okay? But is a test the only way you can show me you learn the material? Well, some of you aren't very test-wise. You just don't take tests very well, okay? Well, I'm going to give you lots of other opportunities, okay, to show me you learn the material. All right? Second statement. Successful people take advantage of opportunities when opportunities present themselves. Got that? If you want to be successful, there are opportunities for you through your life, and they show up every day. Every day there's an opportunity to do something. But most of us go, not really. Okay, we get too lazy, we're not that motivated, and we let these opportunities go by. Part of this class is for me to teach you the theories of psychology, but I'd also like you to learn, okay, how to apply this in your lives so that you can be emotionally and socially a healthier person. So your grades are also based on you. I'm going to give you all these opportunities to succeed. And if at the end of the semester all those opportunities are gone, and then you say to me, but Steve, at the beginning of the semester you said if I got D's on all of the tests, I can still get a B in the course. How do I do that? And I'm going to say, why are you asking now? This is the end of the semester. I gave you 15 weeks of opportunities. You didn't take advantage of them. At the beginning of the semester, I said, successful people take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. You didn't do that. What happened? And that's going to be a lesson about your life, that maybe you're a person that does not take advantage of opportunities because of whatever reason that's there. Are you with me on that? All right, so when I explain the expectations, the syllabus, I'm going to show you all the different opportunities that you have, okay, to get the grades that you want. All right, so let me just switch a little bit here and go from that to talking about the syllabus. Now, you have a shortened version for you. What I did in the shortened version, I put all the most important stuff that's in there. I'm going to go through the longer version just to explain the course, and this is on the course website, okay? The course website, okay, I'll explain to you on Monday, right? Because today's Wednesday, it's Monday. By the way, today is Wednesday, right? Okay, good. Yesterday I had a class in here yesterday. Were any of you in here yesterday? Okay, because yesterday I had about 5 people who should be in this class but showed up yesterday because they thought yesterday was the first day of class and was Monday, right? But it was really Tuesday. Anyway, did you understand that? Because I got confused too. Okay. All right, so let's go through the syllabus. Steve Link, once again. Call me Steve if you want to. I don't mind the informality of that. Call me Dr. Link if you prefer that. All right? Mr. Link reminds me, you can ask me that too, but Mr. Link reminds me of when I taught 6th grade, and that wasn't a real happy experience. Anytime you give me any material, do your answer sheets, send me in material, please put your name on there, obviously, but put the course and the section number. Your section number is 21002, all right? Always put that on there so I can figure out what class you're in. All right, there's my phone number, my email address. Whenever you have any questions, you can email me. I seriously doubt any of you are going to call me. No one uses phones anymore, right? Especially landlines and things like that. Much quicker if you email me. I can give you an answer probably quicker than a phone call. So email me with that. My office hours in K209, where my office is an hour before this class, 8 to 9. But I'm a very early person. I mean, I get here. Are you going to laugh? Please don't laugh at me. Okay? I get here about 6:15 every morning. I mean, I'm an early person. Okay? So I'm here. If you want to email me, I'll answer at that time. I will also get to this classroom early. I'll get here between 8:40 and 8:45. Those of you who are here already, the door's locked. I'll unlock the door. But I'll also be here for you to answer any questions. I'll just stand up here like I did for 10 or 15 minutes waiting for people to answer me questions, or I'll select people to talk to. You and I talked this morning, and if you sit down front, maybe we can talk. Or I'll walk in the back and talk to whoever wants to be talked to. I also do not have a class after this, and I'll stay. I'll just stand up here and wait for anybody to ask questions, and then I'll eventually take it outside and leave. So I'm open to you, right? I'd like you to succeed. What I'd love to see every single one of you sitting in this class at the end of the semester. That won't happen. That never happened. But be great if it did, right? Be great if you all got A's and B's. So I'm very interested in you, and I'd like to see you succeed. So I'm offering you those opportunities. Why would you talk with me? Well, maybe you're not doing very well. Maybe you've never really learned to study, and you want some pointers about how to study. Maybe you want further clarification about material. Maybe you're going to be a psychology major and you want to talk to somebody who does psychology. That's there. I can do all of that for you. All right, so here's the course. And by the way, this course is transfers. I don't know any school in the United States where this course doesn't transfer to. Okay? I know in the state of Texas it transfers to all of the public schools, and I've researched just about every single private school, and they transfer as well. It's a general course taught anywhere in the U.S. Matter of fact, in the state of Texas, through the core curriculum, the state of Texas has gotten all of the instructors many years ago to sit down together and say, what should your students be learning? Because when you take this course at A&M or UT or North Texas or Richland or wherever else, it should be exactly the same course. So as I move on with this, and I come down here and I give you the course rationale, why we teach it, you can read that. But these learning outcomes here, those are the same learning outcomes that are in the syllabi at UT, A&M, North Texas, Texas Tech, or any place else. Because we all agreed to do the same things. Now, the way we teach the courses, okay, is up to us. and the textbooks we use and the material we use. Okay, but it's basically the same course. Let me flip down to here. You can read all that on your own. How will I be teaching this class? This way. I'm in front of you. I have PowerPoints for every single chapter that we do. I will give you about 80% of what's on your test in class. That doesn't mean you shouldn't read your textbook. It doesn't mean you shouldn't buy the textbook, because the other 20% are coming from there. I'm going to try to make the material as easy as I can for you. Okay, as easy as I can. How will I teach? A lot of lecture. Okay, mostly lecture. 90% lecture you're going to get from this. So I need you to what? Pay attention. I'm going to try to interject humor. I'll try to be as clear as I can. I'll use a little 3 to 5 minute little videos to show you. I also use what's called a student response system or a clicker system. I'll give those out on Monday in class. You'll have your own personal clicker that you'll pick up. I'll have them laid out in front here. You'll pick one up every class. You'll drop it off before you leave. What I'll do with that, I'll be asking you kind of opinion questions about things, the topics. I'll do little pop quizzes from time to time to see if you've been listening, which you'll get points for. And most importantly, I like to look at people. Okay? I get energy from looking at people who have those, those bright eyes that are really paying attention. Like, okay, I like that. I'll be looking at you. If you laugh at my jokes, I like you too. Okay? So what winds up happening is that I look for people. But as I look around, I also see this. When I see that, or if I see like that, I'm going to do one of these. And I'll startle you to try to keep you awake. I will also, when we cover the chapter on sensation and perception, I'm going to do a full 1, sometimes 2 classes on how to pay attention. How to use the brain to pay attention. Because your brains, mine too, okay? All of our brains are taught not to pay attention. Okay, really, and I'll explain that to you when we get to that. So it's very hard to sit and listen for what, 17 minutes already? God, it feels like 3 hours, Steve. Okay, it's hard to sit and to focus. But let me show you how to do that as well. I'll do some demonstrations in class if you want. We'll cover a section on dreams. And if any of you want to be brave enough, bring a dream in, and I'll see if I can help you interpret it. Okay? When we do the section on stress, if you want, I can show you a stress management technique called progressive relaxation. And what we'll do is I'll dim the lights, have you close your eyes, and I'll take you through a progressive relaxation, which will induce what's called the parasympathetic part of your nervous system to slow you down and calm you down. If you want to do that, I'll ask you a week ahead of time. If you want to do it, I'll do that for you. So I'll do demonstrations in class as well. I also have assigned activities. These are not in written form. Okay, they're not in written form. They're thought experiments. Like for next Monday, you have an assignment already. On Monday, it's going to be, I want you to think about how do people get to be who they are? All right? I want you to be able to think about that and come back on Monday and be able to answer the question, what were the influences on people? How do people get to be who they are? That would be our general question. Because I'm going to break you down into small groups and you're going to talk about it with other people. And then I'll help answer that question. I'm glad you all wrote that down. Good. Okay? But remember I told you at the beginning of today, I said I want you to learn the theories of Psych. Well, that would be the theories of Psych. But how do you apply that in your life? So the second question will be, and by the way, you don't have to discuss this one on Monday, would be, how did you get to be who you are? What were some of the influences on you that made you who you are? Because psychology tells us you're all very unique individuals. You are all one of a kind, all very, very unique. Right? So that's the second part of the question, just for yourself. So I'll do assigned activities like that. When we cover the chapter on social psychology, I want to pick up one of these syllabi. In fact, somebody else just walked in. You want to get one of those? Why don't you bring one up to him? Be courteous. Right, he'll raise his hand. There you go. When I do the chapter on social psychology, we'll be talking about nonverbal communication and how we communicate nonverbally. I might ask you at that time to go sit yourself down at a mall, a club, a bar, wherever you go where there are groups of people, and sit and watch. Do you watch people? Yeah, right? Sit and watch, and maybe I might ask you to watch what is the nonverbal communication when someone is interested in someone else. How do their bodies stand? How do they look? What do they do to communicate they're interested in somebody? We just want to watch people, right? So I might ask you to do that. When we cover the section on drugs, I might ask you to talk with your friends about where's the line between recreational use, when you have a couple, okay, and abuse. When do you get to a point when you start abusing drugs? By the way, alcohol is a drug, right? So when do you get to the point where you start abusing drugs? And maybe you can do that this weekend when you're partying with your friends. In the middle of the party, say, are we abusing right now? No. That's an interesting discussion, isn't it? Okay, where's that line? So, and then I'll have you do that, then you come back and we'll have a short discussion about it. I may have a discussion, or I may put a question up here, and with your clickers you'll answer. You know, I agree with that, or agree with this statement or not. And again, I'll show you how to use those clickers on Monday. All right, classroom policy. If you're going to drop this class, please do it by the drop date. I'd rather see you get a W than an F. I do recognize that there are certain regulations now in Texas that says that you can only drop so many classes in your academic career, but I'd still rather have you do that. Why do that? Well, someday, let's just say you're doing well in this class, and then at spring break, you go out to California to visit a friend, and you fall in love. Okay? And you decide, because you're in love for 1 week, okay, that you're not going to come back to school, that you're going to stay there with your new loved one. Well, that's cool. Okay, do that, but you can drop this class online. Get online and drop it. You don't have to fly back. You can stay with that person. Okay? But please drop it. Because then what happens, that relationship will probably break up if you just met them in 1 week. Okay? It'll probably break up. You're out in California. You say, you know what? I'm out here. I want to go to UCLA. You know, and you say, okay, and they say, great, send us your transcript of all the schools you went to. And you do that. And they get your transcript at Brookhaven College, and it says F, 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 F. And you go, no, I really didn't get an F. Okay, I just fell in love. That's why I got Fs. And they went, nah, you're out of here. And they won't even accept you. Okay, so what you want to do is, if you decide that you don't want to finish the class, at least take the W, then get an F, that's there. Okay? All right, classroom policy, no food or drinks in the classroom. I'm surprised no one has a drink. Usually somebody brings something in. They're hidden. I see one water there. You can do it, okay? If you want to bring in your water, your cup of coffee, whatever you want to do, you can do that. If you want to go to Subway and get your breakfast and bring it in, you can do that. All right? It's 9 o'clock in the morning, right? We got to get going. However, please promise me that you take your garbage and you throw it out. Don't leave it in the class. If you knock over your coffee in the morning and it gets on the rug, I want you to run out of here, go to the bathroom, which is just down the hall here, out here down the hall, and get some towels and clean it up, all right? Because we do this because, you know, this carpet it looks old, but it's only been here about 3 years, okay? So we need to keep it as clean as possible. Is that a deal? Okay. And if you bring a cup of coffee, you have to bring one for me too. No, just kidding. I don't drink coffee, so just kidding. All right, textbook. Does anybody have the textbook with them? Do you have it with you? Could you somebody just hold it up so people can see it? Oh, they're going to do it in the back. You don't have to do it. All right, let's all look in the back, because somebody's going to pull out that textbook. There it is. Hopefully it's the same one. See? Yeah, you can do an ebook, same thing. So there it is. You can't show us the ebook, but there it is. Everybody see it? Right there. All right, that's the book we'll be using. Please purchase it. Okay, you can buy it from the bookstore here. You can buy it online. Go to Amazon and all the other textbooks sites that you can get used, right? You don't have to buy it new. You can get it used. You can buy an ebook if you want. You can rent the book if you want through the bookstore. The federal government, the Supreme Court, said that they can now sell international editions of textbooks in the United States, and sometimes those are cheaper. Just a little wink at you. Okay, if you can find those online too. The book may look a little different though. That what you held up, the cover may be a little different, but just make sure you get the correct edition, okay? And it says Kuhn and Mitter, and you'll be fine. I like the textbook. It works on what's called the SQ4R method, which is a method of learning. It teaches in that way. It gives you a question, answers the question. It's written in modules. At the end of every module, there's a learning check that's there you can do. The textbook also has a website, which I have listed on my website, that you can link into. That'll give you sample quizzes, flashcards, English to Spanish translations. So you can make use of that as well. Right? If you don't have the money just yet to buy the textbook, because, God, some of you pay more for textbooks than you do for tuition, right? Okay? I'm not getting a kickback on this. I'm not making any money on this. It's just what they charge. If you don't have the money just yet, online, I have asked and got the publisher to give us the first 2 chapters for free. So if you don't have the money yet, after that, you're going to have to buy the textbook. So they're online. I think it's in the course documents section. On Monday, I'll go through the course website as well with you. Ebook, I also have the textbook in the library in the reference section. You have to go to the front desk and they'll give it to you, and you can read the textbook there if you want. Okay. All right, now comes the key. Now, this is what's in your little handout that I gave you. This is the majority with junior handout. This is the expectations, right? This is your evaluation. You're going to have 5 tests. Now, that's probably more tests in this class you'll take than in any other course. And most people give 2, 3, or 4 tests. I do 5 tests. The reason why I do 5 tests is because when I switched to 4 to 5, okay, the grades went up. Why? Because you don't have to study as much material per test. Each one of my tests cover 3 chapters, and 1 test only covers 2 chapters. So that's less studying you have to do per chapter. I think that's better. Educational research also tells me that. Okay? In fact, what they do tell me is I should be giving you a test per chapter. I've done that before, and my dropout rate goes up because people thought it's too much. There's too many tests that are there. So I'll do 5 for you, 3 per test. All right? The second opportunity I have for you is we will not take the test in class. You will go to the testing center and take it. I will give you Thursday through Monday of the appropriate times to take these tests. So I'll announce, the tests are already in your syllabus. They're already written there. You can go there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Monday to take your test. That's an opportunity. Because sometimes if I say the test is Thursday, you have to work late, your child is sick, you don't get a chance to study, that's your only opportunity. Well, in this way, it's kind of like, well, I got to work late on Thursday and Friday, I'll take it on Saturday. I'll wait till Monday. I'm going out of town this weekend, I'll take it on Monday. Going out of town, don't want to study, I'll take it on Thursday. So you make those decisions when you want to take the test. I want you to take... Did you hear me on that one? I got a little louder. I want you to take the test during that time period. Do not, make sure you take the test during that time period. I was about ready to use a double negation. Got to take the test during that time period. Do not take the makeups. I don't want you to get a 0. So if something happens and you don't take the test during that time, I'm going to give you a makeup. The makeups, though, would be during the week of April 21st. So you're going to have to wait till you take the makeup. The makeup exams can't be the same exams everybody else took during the period. And what winds up happening is that the grades on the makeups are usually lower than what the grades are during this regular time. Okay? I don't know if the tests are harder, or the students taking it aren't as smart. I don't know what the variables are that's there. So please take it during the time assigned. You'll do much better on it. But I don't want you to get a 0, so I'll give you an opportunity to take a makeup. All right, 5 tests. Each one of my tests have 55 multiple choice questions on it. 55 multiple choice questions. Got that? However, you will only answer 50. You're going to choose 5 questions not to answer. That's a deal. Since I went to that format, grades have gone up again. Why is that? Well, I know this. I was a student as well. Okay, I remember that. Sometimes you take a test and you look at a question and you go, he never talked about that. I don't think this is psychology. This looks like physics. I have no idea what this question is about. Don't answer that question, right? Or when you get to a question that it looks like all 4 answers are the correct answer, don't answer that one either. You get to choose 5 questions that you know you might be guessing at. You leave that one blank. Leave those blank, and I will grade you on the 50 questions that you answer. If you don't do that, answer all 55, I'm calling that cheating, okay? And I'm going to take 2 points off per question above 50. And I'll remind you of that before you test. Test in the testing center. I'll give you a test permission slip a week beforehand. You bring your own answer sheet to it and a pencil, and we'll be on our way. That's a deal, right? That's an opportunity to succeed. All right, B. Activity serves as a replacement paper. Here's another opportunity. You don't do well on the first test. You haven't figured out what kind of questions I'm going to ask. You were out of town. You couldn't study. Whatever reason, you get a 60 on that first test. The second test, you get an 84. The next one, you get a 94. You're on a roll. You get a 96 on the next one. But you got that 60 sitting there in your grade total. Well, let's get rid of that 60. How do we get rid of that 60? Let's do an activity. Okay? 2 activities you can do. One, you can do what's called service learning. Anybody do service learning last semester? No? 1 or 2 of you might have. Okay? Service learning. One, on the website, I'll show you where to go. You can sign up for it. All you have to do is on this campus, you don't have to get off if you don't want to. If you do, I have placements you can use to go off campus. You put in 15 voluntary hours during the semester, averages out to 1 hour a week. One program we have is called the International Conversation Partners Program, where you're going to sit down with someone who's in the very first English as a Second Language course. Some of you may have taken that course and you progressed through it. Now you're taking college classes. All you're going to do is sit down and help them learn English. That's it. We even have guided activities you can do during this time. You can teach them all the slang you want, whatever you want to do. You can go off campus. You can go to lunch. You can go to dinner. I don't know. You do whatever you want. Okay? But you're just there to help them with their English. And what you'll do discussions. And you lead the discussions. That's all it is. Then at the end of that, what you're going to do is write me a 3 to 5 page paper. Okay? This paper is going to summarize everything you did. Give me the names of the person. I met so-and-so. She was from South Korea. She's this much, this old. This is what we did. I learned this about her. We did this in our first activity. Tell me what you did. That's pretty easy, isn't it? Then tell me what you learned and if you do it again. By the way, I have this all written down on the course website, what your expectations are in that paper. That's it. The average grade on these last semester was a 92. It was a 92. Okay? That then 92, if you gets rid of the 60 I was talking about. Wow, good deal. If you don't have time to do service learning, and you can do this on campus, I also have a program set up where you can go into one of the elementary schools and help them with reading and math, and all that's listed on the website under course information, if you want to look at it before I talk about it next Monday. The second one is you don't have time to do that, well then you can read a book about psychology. In the website I have a list of suggested books that you can read. Check it out in the library if you want. Anything that you might want to read about human behavior, any book is possible, or the suggested readings that's there. Read the book, give me a summary of the book, 3 to 5 pages, okay? Give me your reaction to the book, what did you learn, how are you going to put it into practice, boom. Give you a grade for that. The grades on that one as well was about a 92 as well. That grade then will replace the lowest. You can only do one of these though. you're going to have to speak up. What I said before in class is that the acoustics in this room go this way. It doesn't go this way. So go ahead.
Could it also be an article?
Could it be? No, it can't be an article. It has to be a book. Nice book. 200-page book. Okay? Because it's going to make up for a test grade. Okay? So it has to be a book. Choose a book you want to learn something about, right? You're not doing well in your relationship? Read a book about improving your relationship. Keep picking the wrong person to go out with all the time? Maybe you might want to read a book about choosing better people. You have a child you want to learn more about? Read a book about parenting. Not getting along with your parents? Read a book about getting along with your parents. Are you an athlete? You want to improve your focusing and your ability to get into the zone and concentrate? I got books on that website that'll help you with that as well. Do something that you want to learn, right? Are you ready for this statement? We're here to learn, aren't we? We want to learn about psychology, so choose a book you want to learn about instead of doing one just because it's required. No, this is your choice. All right, so we got 2 options there. All right, participation in class is required. I will be taking attendance through these clickers, okay, at the beginning of class, at end of class. 1 point for each attendance. Show up on time, you get a point. Leave. Stay here at the end, you get another point. 2 points per day. As we go through the class, I'm going to call them pop quizzes. Okay, all they are is that as I lecture and talk, I'll stop and go, let me see if you people were listening. And I'll throw up a question. Get it right, you get a point. Get it wrong, you get no points. Okay? So what I'll do through the semester is that we'll start adding up points. Okay, through participation, answering the questions, attending class. So you accumulate up to 125 points. That's more than a test grade, just for sitting here, okay, and participating with me. All right, we got that. Then the last one is a critical thinking essay that you're all going to write. I have an article online. You're going to read the article, and then there are short essays that you are to write about based on that article. As the semester goes on, I'll take each one of those questions and talk a little bit about it and what my expectations are for that particular essay question. So don't write this weekend. Wait until like March or April to write it, and by then you'll know the information how to answer those questions. This is a requirement of all psychology classes, okay? Matter of fact, after this semester, in the fall semester, you will be writing essays and papers like this in every single class you take at Brookhaven. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. This is part of the new state initiative, okay, where they are telling us that we have to develop schemes to test whether or not you're thinking critically and lots of other learning objectives, whether you're at Brookhaven or UT or any place else in the state. Okay. All right. Academic honesty, what can I say about that? Don't cheat, okay? Please don't, and we'll talk about that as the semester goes on. All right, course grades. In order to get an A, you need 652 points. 5 tests, critical thinking essay, participation. All right? Replacement paper if you do it or not. Here's the biggie, though. Extra credit. If you want, you can do extra credit. Successful people, right, succeed when they take advantage of opportunities. This is the biggie that's here. I'm going to let you accumulate 40 extra credit points. That's quite a bit, okay, to add on to everything we just talked about. So if you got, that's 40 extra credit points, 5 tests, averages out to what? 8 points a test. So if you did 40 extra credit points by the end of the semester, you could be adding 8 points into every one of your tests. That 82 becomes a 90, 72 becomes an 80, right? So on down the line. That helps. The students who did extra credit, and all the semesters have been doing this, bumped up their grades, have done much better. What you'll do for your extra credit is that you're going to go online in my assignment section. Again, I'll show you that on Monday. Okay? You'll get into, it says extra credit articles. You click into it. Folders will open up. There are articles pertaining to every chapter in our textbook. Okay? Click into the folder. Boom, articles present themselves. Read the article. There'll be a quiz at the end of the article. Okay? For every question you get right, you're going to get a point. So what I've done is that I have a grading system that if you accumulate 138 correct answers, you'll get 40 extra credit points. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're just going to get online and start reading those articles. Get 5 for one, great. 8 for another one, 6 for this one, 7 for that one. You just keep going, working hard, keep going, working hard, keep going, until you accumulate 138 correct answers. Then you'll have 40 extra credit points. What articles do you read? Any ones you want. Read articles you're interested in, right? I must have 100 articles on there. Click into an article, start reading it, and you go, this is boring. Well, click out of it. Go read another article. I'll tell you what some of you will do. You click into an article, and you scroll down, and you go, God, this is long. I'm not going to read this one. And you get another one. You go, oh, this is a short one. I'm going to answer this one. Okay? Well, the longer the articles, the more questions there are, too. So that's all you have to do for extra credit. Boom, accumulate points, accumulate points. Now, those of you who are devious, which there's no one here, okay, you have to read the article. You can't just open up the article, go right to the quiz, and guess at the answers, okay, because that's cheating. Okay? And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but every time you get online in Blackboard, I get to see what you're doing, how many minutes you spent on it, and everything else. I don't know if you know that, okay? You don't own that. So what happens is that we get to see what you're doing. So I can see you're only spending 2 minutes on an article. I mean, those articles should take you anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes to read and answer. Okay? So you get in there, you do it comprehensively, and you accumulate your points. The first due date is March 24th, 20 points by that time. Okay? Which means you have to accumulate about 80 correct answers by that time, and the second due date is as what's listed. Questions about that? All right, the second opportunity you have to do extra credit, is to attend a lecture that relates to human behavior. Every day I'm going to come in, I get here early, I'm going to put announcements up. Announcements. And in those announcements, it'll tell you when the next test is and on and on. But also, it'll tell you if there's going to be a lecture this week or next week on campus. Go to the lecture, okay? Answer, write me up a short essay, 1 to 1.5 pages. What was the lecture about? What did you learn? Hand it in. I'll give you up to 5 points, okay? About how well, based on how well you wrote the essay. Okay, so you accumulate only 40 points total, but you can do 20 going to lectures, 20 reading the articles, 30 reading the articles, 10 doing lectures, 5 doing lectures, 35 doing that, whatever you want to do. Okay, so you have 2 opportunities to get extra credit. Some of you through the Common Book Project, the other what's the book's name again? Other Westmore? Okay, some of you have to read that in English classes and other classes. Great, go to the lecture. You may be required to go when he comes here next week, by the way, to speak. Okay, go to the lecture. You have to go for your other class. Go for mine too and get extra credit for it. All right, special information. I'm not going to read any of this to you, but you can just read this when you get home. Okay, all kinds of information about tuition withdrawal charges, repeating the course, communicating with me, retrieving your grades, stop before you drop, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All right. The last part that's in your syllabus that I gave you on the second side is the calendar. Okay? Still with me, by the way? I know, you drifted off a little bit. The calendar, here we go. This is it. This is what we're doing. This week is the week of the 20th. I'm doing Chapter 1. If you want to read Chapter 1, great. Read it before the class, after the class. Do whatever you want. The best students read the chapters before I talk about it. Okay? Hopefully you'll at least listen to the lecture, then read the chapter. The majority of you are going to read all 3 chapters probably on February 12th, which is the day before the first test begins. Try not to do that, okay? Try to read it in increments that are there. But your first test is February 13th through the 17th over chapters 1 through 3. I reserve the right to change anything in the syllabus. The only thing I'll change, though, is going to be these dates of these tests. I'll never change the beginning date. I may give you more time to take the test. Okay? I'll give you more time. This class has missed one class already, right? Monday? We missed that one. I'm a day behind already. So if I find I'm behind, I don't want to rush the material. So what I may say is, I don't want to rush the material. Let's do the test through the 19th instead. Okay? Give you 2 more days to take the test. Okay? That's the only reason why I'll change it. Go through the calendar. All your dates are listed there. I want you to recognize that your 5th test is not a comprehensive final. It is not over all 15 chapters we're going to be reading. It's just over the last 3 chapters, and that's it. Okay? That's it. Okay? I'm done. Questions? We're not leaving yet, but questions? All right. It's, you know what? It's hard sometimes to ask a question with a huge group of people. Okay? But let me show you some sample grades. You can see that, right? These are actual grades. Let's say this student, those are their test grades. Right? If you add up all their test grades, they come up with 364 points, which is an F. Right? Because they didn't do anything else. But yes, they did. They did participation. They did come to class. They got 96 points out of 125. They participated. They made most of the classes, answered most of the questions correctly. They did a great essay. They got a 90 on it. So now we add those points up. They get 550. They have a C. So even though they got 3 C's, 2 D's, they got a C in the course. But they did 40 points worth of extra credit. They now have a B in the course. Okay? So they got what? C's and D's on their tests, but they still get a B in the course. Whoops, did that wrong. All right, here's the next person. Okay, similar grades, 110 points worth of participation. They didn't do any extra credit, though. They did the replacement paper instead. By the way, it's not an instead. You can do both. Right? You can do both. You do replacement paper and the extra credit. They did the replacement paper, got a 90 on it. I take that 90, I replace one of the 68s. Right? Get rid of the 68, it's now a 90 for a grade. Add all that up, they also get a B in the course. Now this person here, though, okay, took advantage of all the opportunities. They just didn't test well, though. They got D's on every single test. You see that? Good participation, did well on the essay. Even though they got D's on their test, they still got a C in the course. But then they did a replacement paper. They got a 94 in the replacement paper. Boom, that 64 is now gone from their grades, replaced with a 94. And they did the extra credit. What do they wind up with? A B in the course, even though they got D's on all the tests. Opportunities, right? Opportunities. So, deep into yourself right now, are you a person who takes advantage of opportunities when they present themselves? Oh yeah, I am. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll do a little test on you. All right, now I'll show you this one too. Because here's a person who's done well. They got C's on all the tests. They didn't come to class though. They just said, oh, the hell with it. I'll watch Steve Link's videos. By the way, I'm making a video right now. Not a video. I'm making a recording with my PowerPoints on it. For every lecture I do, I will have my PowerPoints on there with me talking about it. So if, okay, you miss a class, you can watch those. If you want to what? Brush up on things, study up. I didn't understand what he said, play it back. I have them all listed on YouTube. You can go there and watch them. Okay? But this person didn't come to class. They did well on the essay. They didn't do the replacement paper. They didn't do extra credit. Even though they got C's on the test, they got a D in the class. Why? Because they didn't do anything else and they didn't show up to class. That's why I write on the bottom, you got to attend class. That does help you. Now, are there questions? No questions yet? Good. I must have done a really thorough job, right? Remember, this is a relationship we're in. You don't want to get into a relationship, and if you don't understand something, just let it go by. How many of you have been in a relationship and you're going like, oh, I shouldn't say anything. It may rock the boat. It may get him or her upset. Don't do that. Make them upset. No, don't make them upset, but you need clarification about it. So if you have any questions, email me or see me after class. All right, we're not done yet, though, all right? What I want to do in the next part of the class is get you to meet some other people in the class. I don't want you just come to class and sitting here the whole semester not knowing anybody. So this is what we're going to do. When I ask you to, I want you to form of groups of maybe, 4 to 8 people, okay? Most of you are just going to turn around and talk to the people around you, which is fine. If you want to get up out of your chairs and go meet somebody, you can do that too. When I ask you to, I want you to form small groups. I want you to introduce yourself. Hello, my name is whatever, and tell them a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to tell them, okay? Then when you finish the introductions, I want you to talk about this. I want you to answer the question, I wonder about, fill in the blank. What do you wonder about? What do you wonder about? Okay? Now I want you to wonder about human behavior. Okay? I don't want to hear things like, I wonder if the Cowboys will ever make the Super Bowl again. Okay? Well, it could be human behavior. I wonder if they have the personality types of being a leader. That's there. I wonder if there's a culture of losing that's developed within the Cowboy organization. That would be human behavior, right? Thinking about it that way. But I want you to wonder about human behavior. Those of you who are introverted, kind of shy, you don't like this exercise. I know, I'm sorry. Those of you who are extrovert, help those people out, right? If you see someone is sitting by themselves, because everybody turns this way, invite them in, please. And you yourself, get out of your seats and meet some other people. All right, go for it. Get into groups 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, just turn around and just be in a group. Now you're going to have to be assertive. Just move into a group. Good. Get up out of your chair. I'm glad you're talking. You're gabbing away, which is great. My guess is you're not talking about what I asked you to talk about. You're talking about more interesting things at this point, which is fine. But I did this, one reason is just to get you to know some other people, right? You're going to a community college, you don't really have opportunities to meet other people. You drive here, you take a class, you leave, you drive, and you go someplace else. So I hope that you've met some people. I'm going to do this again on Monday when we talk about what are the influences on people. When you come in on Monday, I want you to sit in a seat that you'll be in for the rest of the semester. So try to get here early and select your seat. I'm going to do a seating chart, and the seating chart is for me, not you, because I want to get to know who you are, so I want to be able to look at the seating chart, look up, and do name and face, okay? So we'll do that next week, but we'll do it again. So who knows who you just met? Maybe you met your future partner. I don't know. Okay? Maybe you met somebody whose family is pretty wealthy and they own some big companies and they're going to hire you and pay you big money. Maybe you met someone who's from another country you'll get to know pretty well who say, I'm going back to my country in the summer. Why don't you come visit? That's a good deal. That's there. Who knows who you're meeting? Maybe you met somebody who you can get the notes from if you miss class sometime. Maybe you meet a group of people you might want to form a study group with. We know study groups do help. I don't know who you just met. When I'm not going to embarrass anybody and say, do you know everybody's name now in your group? A lot of you probably forgot those already. But if you see these people on campus, don't just walk by them. At least go, nod at them or something and say hello to them, particularly when you come back to class again. One purpose is that. My second purpose is to show you what a diverse group of people we are, aren't we? If you go to universities, universities have what they call diversity programs to try to recruit people of different ethnic groups and genders and on and on and on. That's there. We don't do that here, do we? Boy, we got a multi-diverse group of people. We got different ethnic groups, we got males, we got females, right? I don't know your sexual preferences, okay? But we probably have diversity there as well. There are those of you who are married, those of you who have been divorced, those of you who've never been married, those of you who have children, those of you who don't have children. Very, very diverse group. There are ages that are different here. We probably got people who are 16, and I'm the oldest person, okay, up to my age. That's there. So it is. It's a very, very diverse group. And since we're such a diverse group, that also means we're going to think differently, our attitudes are going to be different, our values may be different. So if we have discussions during the semester, okay, and you don't agree with somebody, that's okay. Okay? I want you to respect each other's right to think differently, feel differently, and behave differently. I don't want to get any of this, God, what a jerk he is. If you think that, keep it to yourself, okay? But hopefully I can open up your minds about human behavior and people so we can get rid of a lot of our biases that's there. So that's the second reason that's there. Okay, so let's get to the question. Ready? What did you wonder about? Somebody raise their hand and tell me. Okay.
I wonder about like addictions that form when you're a child and stuff.
Did you say addictions?
Yeah, like addictions.
Yeah, you wonder if addictions are formed while you're a child. It's a good question. I can answer all of these, but I'm not, okay? But when are addictions formed? I would even put it a little further because you're making me wonder. I wonder if people have brains that are predisposed towards addiction. Okay? What else? Another wonder question. Anybody in the back? What? The future. Yeah, your future. Our future. We're even going to be here. Right, the future. Right. I hope you all wonder about that. 5 years from now, where are you going to be? 5 years is a long time. Hopefully all of you will have a degree, okay? And you'll be off somewhere. You could be married, you could have children, you could be divorced. I don't know. All right, 5 years, the future. What else do you wonder about?
Like religion, how it kind of takes people apart, but it brings them together. Because there's like always something you learn about ethnic culture.
Sure.
How one religion kind of converted to a different one.
Did you hear her? No, right. So what happens is that acoustics are bad in here. Right? So I'm going to repeat. I'm not insulting you or anybody else. I will always repeat the question or what someone said. So see if I can remember. Okay? What she said is that she wonders about religion. Okay? And cultures and ethnicities and different groups and about how they're so different and how we can also learn from each other. That's there. I wonder about religion as well. I wonder how powerful religion is. I wonder about your religion. I wonder if you were born to different parents in a different part of the world, would you still have the religion you have now? I don't know. The cultural factors that are there that may define religions. Religions, how interesting. I wonder why we kill each other because our God, my God is better than your God. I'll kill you for that. That's been going on for what? Forever, isn't it? Forever. What else do you wonder about? Go ahead.
I read this article about how we're all born with like criminal minds, but they're not as developed as like the one that actually like performs crime.
Okay.
But it's like I wonder how much of a criminal mind do we really have?
Do we really have? It's an interesting question. She wonders about if we one, I would say, are we really born with a criminal mind? But then two, if we are, what moves people towards committing those acts and what moves people to stop that? Yeah, that's interesting. You wonder if there is a criminal brain that's done that way. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Very good. What else?
Why do we have a tendency of caring so much for first impressions?
Why do we have a tendency to
care so much for first impressions?
about first impressions? This is what today's all about, isn't it? First impressions that we're making on each other. Why does it have so much weight on us? And that is very true. You wonder why it carries so much weight. All right.
I wonder about the nature versus nurture.
That's excellent. That's psychology. Right. Nature versus nurture, which nature is biology, brain formations, genetics. Does that have an influence on how you get to be who you are? Next question, right? For Monday. Or is it really nurture, which is the environment you were brought up with? Cultures, parents, family, religion, and on and on. How did you get to be who you are? The influence that's there. And I'll have an answer for that. Okay? But that is the basis of psychology. We've been arguing about that forever. Did you have something you wanted to say? Okay. Never mind. All right. What else? What else do you wonder about?
I wonder about how, you meet a lady and, you get married and you love her. 10 years after you divorce.
Yeah. How does that happen, right? You wonder about that. Yeah. We wonder about relationships. That love is so intense and you're so interested in the person at first, and 10 years later it's gone. What happened during those years? Yeah, I wonder about that too. Did you ever just pull up next to somebody at a red light, look over at them and say, I wonder what their life is like? I mean, really. Hey, guys, do you ever wonder what it would be like to be a woman? No. Or vice versa, women about guys. Do you wonder what it would be like to be a different ethnic group? You wonder what it would be like 20 years from now in terms of age that's there. You wonder why a lot of people say, oh, you do that just like your father. You do that just like your mother. Why is it that you're so different than your brother, your sibling, and you're from the same family, but you're so different from them? I wonder. Well, what we're doing now when we wonder about all of these that are here, because these are the most common ones we wonder about, okay? And what you said are subcategories of all of these. Kind of wonder. This is what psychologists do. We sit and we wonder about human behavior. Is it nature or nurture? Why is your divorce rate so high in this country? That's there. Why is it a child from a family can be so different with what we think is the same influences, and they grow up so differently? What makes a criminal? Well, we wonder about this, and then we try to get answers. And the research we do gives us those answers. Psychology uses the scientific approach to get answers. Okay? What I give you this semester is based on research. It's not going to be based on, I just kind of observe this. I think this is true. Okay? It's based on solid scientific research. However, when I do the second part of this course, the theory is based on research. When I talk about how to apply this in your life, that's called an art form. That's learning to do this stuff, all right? Which is very, very hard to do. I'm going to make a statement now, and that is, most of your personalities were pretty well laid down by the time you were about 8 to 10 years old. Okay, and a lot of researchers say who you are was formed then, and as you get older, you just modify that. You don't drastically change it. Okay, that's a hot sports opinion, isn't it? Okay, it's a pretty strong statement to say that. Is that true? I've got research that says that backs it up pretty well. Does it make it true for 100% of the people? No. Okay, no. Why? Because psychology is not a true 100% science. Why? Because the variables are so great. What we'll learn about on Monday is how did you get to be who you are? And we're going to have a huge list that's there. So when all these variables influence you, we can never say the person who has a criminal mind did this when they were younger, because it can't be that way. But what I can say to you is the research says there's a tendency that he became a criminal for these reasons. You hear the word tendency? I can't tell you 100% of the time. Too many variables to work with. When I cover the chapter in research, that'll be more self-explanatory to you. Those of you who might want to be a psychology major, and those of you you're in psychology, we're studying it, psychology has changed in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, I would never make this statement, but I'm going to make it today. A lot of psychology is based on what the brain does now. A lot of psychology studies how the brain works, okay, as an influence on who you are. And we'll cover that now. If you were a psychology major at a major university, like TCU, Baylor, UNT, A&M, UT. I know those schools do this. If you declared a psychology major, you would not be taking this class first. You'd be taking Introduction to Neuropsychology, all about the brain. Then you'd take this course second. Okay? That's how great emphasis there is now on the study of the brain. So throughout the semester, I'm going to bring you more and more research about the brain and what we've learned about the brain. Okay? That's nurture, right? That's nurture. But what's interesting is nature, nurture. The environment can actually change the neurological connections in the brain. What goes on in your environment actually changes it. That's there. To me, I get excited about that. I think that's fascinating stuff. Okay. If you bear with me, let me just get to another topic. Don't look at those questions. These are some of the questions we'll be doing to teach you how to use those little clickers on Monday. But let me just continue on a little bit, just for 10 minutes, because what we want to talk about is just what is psychology? What are we going to be studying? Psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processing. Right? That's all we're going to do. Scientific, though, we use scientific methods, okay, to study human behavior, okay, and we're going to study how people think and how that brain works. I would also say psychology is the study of the brain, behavior. Psychology is the study of what? Emotions, how we feel, how we think, who we are. The study of human behavior. Okay? It's based on empirical evidence, which basically means it's based on research. A lot of you, as I go through the semester, I'll make a statement and you go, no, I don't think that's true. But you're basing it on your experiences with you and your friends. That's between you and, 20 people, 10 people, 4 people? And you observe that people do things this way? That doesn't mean that people in the world do it that way. That's your narrow focus that's there. So when we use the term empirical evidence, we're doing research with thousands of people, okay, to come up with this research that's there. Psychologists give tendencies. Remember before I said there's a tendency for someone who's a criminal, who becomes a criminal, to do it this way? Never 100% accurate. If you say to me, Steve, I have my child, and I need some advice about how to work with my child on this. What I'll probably is say, give me more information, okay? Then I'll say what you could try is A, what you can try is B, what you can try is C. I can't tell you that A is going to work 100% of the time because the variables are so different. Each child is a little different. As a parent, the way I treated my oldest son was a little different the way I treated my daughter, because they were just different people. What worked for one didn't work for the other one. Okay? And as a good parent, you got to figure that out. So what we do is we talk with what? Tendencies that's there. Can never give you exact answers. Discuss variables that contribute to explanation of human behavior. So as an introduction for you, how did you get to be who you are? Okay? When you think about this, there's a lot of different variables, aren't there? All right? Just for the fun of it, to get you thinking over this weekend, give me one variable, just one that you can think of at the top of your head, that was an influence in how people get to be who they are. Okay. Genetics, right. Did you hear what she said? Genetics. Oh, that's not true. Yes, it is true. Did you know they've done genetic studies that show that some people are genetically predisposed to being shy? Runs in families. Some of you who are introverted, who are basically shy, you're kind of going, yeah, I guess that's me. Is he talking about me? Yeah, I am, but you know what? You were probably predisposed towards that, okay, from the very beginning. There's also studies that said some of you who talk all the time may be genetically disposed to that. Did you know, somebody brought this up, that you can be genetically predisposed towards addictions? Okay? Alcoholism runs in families. Is it because we learned nurture? Okay? Or is it because it's genetic? I do know that people who are alcoholics don't have the amount of enzymes in their stomachs, by the way, that makes them throw up. You know, some of you, when you drank a little too much, and you threw up, and you said, oh, God, please get me through tonight. Okay, I'll never drink again. Well, some people have a tendency towards being alcoholics, don't have those enzymes that make them get rid of the poison. They drink more and more. That's there. Maybe it's genetic that's there. Okay? Maybe. I didn't say maybe. I did say maybe. I don't mean for sure, but that could be one of the influences that are there. What's another one? Get me.
Life experience.
What?
Life experience.
Life experience?
Yeah, experience.
Oh, experience. Life experiences. Yeah, sure. The stuff that's happened to you, right? Your life experiences. And you learn from those life experiences that stops you from developing, maybe. Okay? The experiences you have in your life. And here's a key word to it, the way you perceive those experiences. I didn't tell you this because I'm now retired. I just retired in November. But I've been a therapist, you know, the shrink guys. Okay, a therapist from longer than I've been teaching. Okay, and I just retired in November. But when I sometimes look at families, and I see a family that has an alcoholic father in it, and you talk to the children, and one child says, well, you know, he's a jerk. He comes home drunk, he yells at us. But what you can do? He's an alcoholic. No big thing. Okay? And the other one says, but don't you realize what he's saying to us? Okay, he's calling us stupid. He's doing this and that to us. And the other person says, who cares? Well, what's going on there? They're experiencing the same event, but they're also perceiving it differently. Okay? By the way, I'm not saying one is better than the other here, because both of them may have issues, just different issues that are there. Life experience. Somebody said something back here? What? Environment, yeah. And environment has many, many different things to it, right? You'd think you'd be different if you grew up in Plano, Texas, as compared to South Oak Cliff, as compared to Muleshoe, Texas, as compared to New York City. Would there be different environments there? Sure there would be. All right. Environments. If you were born to a family that was intact, which means they didn't get divorced, as compared to a divorced family, as compared to a blended family, people got divorced and got remarried and they blended all the children together, stepbrothers and stepsisters, is that a different influence on you? Yeah, sure. So all of these could have different influence. Do I have you thinking? So when you come back on Monday, what we'll do is I'll show you how to use the clickers and things like that, break you up to small groups again. You'll choose the seats that you want to sit in, and then we'll be ready to take notes starting on Monday as well.